Wendy Williams is one of the biggest names in celebrity gossip, and people love her for her off-the-cuff comments about celebrity scandals. However, the unfiltered nature of her show can get her in a lot of trouble with the celebrities that she talks about on the show. I'm Mackenzie, and let's get into the celebrities who tried to warn us about Wendy Williams. But first, make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Firstly, we got Blac Chyna. Wendy Williams loves talking about the Kardashians, so when Rob Kardashian started seeing Blac Chyna, Wendy did not hold her tongue on what she thought Chyna's true intentions for the relationship were. Wendy made it clear she believes Chyna never loved Rob, she was only there for the money. She even claims that Chyna came, quote, from a pole, and because of this she's always scheming, even including her mother Tokyo Toni in the conversation, claiming that Toni raised Chyna to be that way. Wendy said, quote, "It's very fun to watch she and her mom Tokyo Toni come up off the backs of people who don't see through their ruse." But Chyna did not take this lying down and clapped back on Instagram. Chyna wrote, quote, "Wendy, Wendy, Wendy, you lost your mother effing mind. How dare you speak on me, my fiance, and my mom like you were at the Christmas table with us. I find it so funny how you love to talk about Rob and his insecurities, like at one point in time you weren't a fat 400-pound person on the radio." Next up, Will Smith. Will Smith is considered an unproblematic king because he rarely gets into scandals or causes drama with other people, but he just couldn't hold his tongue on his disdain for Wendy Williams, and he decided to rap about her in one of his songs to try and get through to her. On the track, Mr. Nice Guy, Will Smith rapped, quote, "Wendy Williams, you don't know me. I'm not your punching bag. You gonna blow me up, girl, you better leave me alone before I buy your radio station and send you home." And Will is not the only musician who has called out Wendy in their music. Mariah Carey, Tupac, and Jay-Z have all made negative comments about Wendy in their songs. When Wendy was asked how it felt to have so many negative words about her in music, she responded, quote, "Without those song mentions, I might not be on TV right now. There's a large segment who may have never heard about me on the radio, but they heard Tupac tell me I needed to go to Jenny Craig, or Mariah Carey tell me that I'm up in her business, so I love them for that." Clearly, Wendy believes all press is good press. Next up, Jennifer Lawrence. After nude photos of Jennifer Lawrence were leaked to the public, Wendy discussed them on her show. At the time, Jennifer herself commented on the leak, saying that anyone who looked at the photos was committing an assault on her because they were only meant for her boyfriend at the time's eyes. Adding, quote, "It's my body and it should be my choice, and the fact that it's not my choice is absolutely disgusting." Wendy clapped back, admitting that she had looked at the photos, saying, quote, "It's not your choice, it's the cloud and I've looked several times, so I guess I'm disgusting for looking?" Then Wendy kind of victim shamed, saying that it was Jen's fault for taking the photos in the first place. Wendy added, quote, "Besides Jen, you don't look bad under your clothes, and I think the hackathon has actually made your career even hotter. Because she was red hot before, but now it's like a heat-seeking missile hot, so hold your head up with pride." Next up, Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer called out Wendy Williams on her own show after Wendy did not support Keke in a feud with Trey Songz. Keke went on the show to promote her memoir, and while there, Wendy asked Keke for updates on her lawsuit against Trey Songz. The conflict between them was that Trey wanted to use footage of Keke in one of his music videos, and she didn't want to do that, and instead of respecting her wishes, he intimidated her and essentially tried to force a cameo in the music video. She actually hid in a closet while she waited for an Uber, and Trey used footage of her in the music video anyway. When asked about the situation, Keke told Wendy, quote, "I don't want to keep browbeating on one situation, but I will say, Wendy, I would have loved to turn on your show and saw you a little more compassionate and less accusatory and ridiculing." Wendy quickly responded that she couldn't do that, and Keke clapped back, quote, "Why, girl? Because the gag is, you weren't even there." Keke continued that people like Wendy should not be promoting men putting women into intimidating situations that they don't want to be in. Next up, Swavy. The most recent thing that Wendy Williams got backlash for was her strange and insensitive comments talking about the murder of a TikTok star named Swavy. Wendy started off the segment saying that she had no idea who he was, and nobody in the audience would probably know either. Then she started talking about his TikTok followers and how he has more followers than her. Then her producer Norman chimed in that Wendy has more followers than him on Instagram, not TikTok. Then, out of nowhere, Wendy explains that the reason they're even talking about him is because he was recently killed. He died at the age of 19, and Wendy described the situation, while adding that nobody is currently in custody, so the case will most likely not be solved. This clip then went viral online, with people calling out Wendy for how strange and insensitive the segment was. Swavy's mother, Chanel Clark, told Philadelphia CBS 3 that she didn't appreciate Williams' commentary. She said, quote, "Like as a mother, Wendy Williams, how dare you? So disrespectful. I used to watch you as a child, and even though you have a gossip show and all that, you didn't even know my son." Next up, Beyoncé. In 2012, Wendy did the unthinkable and decided to bash Beyoncé on her show. Wendy was talking about Beyoncé's HBO documentary and how excited she was to watch it, even calling herself a Beyoncé fan. But then Wendy decided to bash Beyoncé for no reason, adding, quote, "I'm watching because fortunately one of the TVs in our kitchen has closed captioning, so I'll be able to understand what she says. You know, Beyoncé can't talk. Beyoncé sounds like she has a 5th grade education. She can't talk." Around that same time, Wendy also promoted a theory that Beyoncé and Jay-Z had paid Rachel Roy to stir up drama ahead of the Lemonade album release. Wendy said, quote, "So Rachel Roy, first of all, you're not this fighting girl, unless you're on Jay-Z and Beyoncé's payroll and they pay you to mix it up for, I guess, sales for the Lemonade." After these comments against Beyoncé, the Bayhive went crazy and started bashing Wendy online. Next up, Ariana Grande. In 2015, when Wendy was talking about the relationship between Big Sean and Ariana Grande, she decided to trash Ariana for her small stature. Wendy said, quote, "She's 21, she'll forever look 12, and I don't mean that in a good way. It's nice to look younger than you are. When you look too young, then you're short. She's only like 4'11". I don't look at her as like a woman." After these comments, Wendy was called out for body shaming. The whole incident got so much backlash that hashtag cancel Wendy Williams started trending on Twitter afterwards. This was sadly not the last time Wendy trashed Ariana for how she looked, whether it be for her outfit choices or just her body in general. And lastly, Nicki Minaj. Nicki and Wendy have a long history, with both of them making remarks at the other over the years. But things were the worst after Wendy was speaking about Nicki's marriage to Kenneth Petty. This was after reports surfaced that Petty had served jail time for numerous crimes. Nicki called out Wendy during a segment of Queen Radio, saying, quote, "It's not about doing your job. There are people who report the news and there are people who do it with an evil intent in their heart. Viciousness. And I pray for you because I know you're hurting and I know you must be sick and humiliated." Adding, quote, "I didn't know that in our society you have to be plagued by your past. I didn't know that people can't turn over a new leaf. I didn't know that your viciousness and evilness was this deep rooted." Nicki then decided to take some punches of her own and called out Wendy for her own failed marriage that was plagued with cheating rumors throughout. Adding, quote, "But I understand why now. When a woman isn't really being loved at home, the viciousness is a different type. So I really wanted to pray for you today because look at where you are now in your life. Look at what age you are. You're sat up there being vicious all this time and paid for that man's mistress all these years." So that's all for the list, guys. Please leave your thoughts below and let me know if there was anyone that I missed on this list. But before I go, I'm going to shout out some comments from celebrities that had secret pregnancies. Felicia said, "That is so sweet that Joaquin named his son River." Yeah, very, very sweet. I love when people do that, honor a late family member. Very, very sweet. Then Audra said, "Had to skip number 8, the turd, otherwise great list." I almost forgot. I was like, who is number 8? Amber Heard, of course. Yes, very valid. Hope she's a good mother. Then Emily says, "I hope Amber Heard has the stability to raise a child." Me too. I mean, she has so much going on in her life. I mean, I think we all know that Amber Heard will probably have some help. I mean, she's a single woman, so hopefully her nanny has a good heart. Alright guys, that's all for the video today. Thanks so much for sticking around if you made it all the way here. If you liked the video and you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel below. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and I'll catch you in the next one. Wendy said, quote, "It's very fun to watch." And Will is not the only and Wendy added, quote, "Besides Jen." Keke Palmer called out Wendy Williams on her show after Wendy did not support Keke oh my god. Keke Palmer called out Wendy Williams on her show. Wendy quickly responded that she couldn't, and Wendy said, quote, "So Rachel Roy, first of all, you're not a..." In 2015, while Wendy was talking about the relationship between Big Sean and Ariana Grande, started trending on Twitter afterwards. What the fuck? Subscribe to the channel below. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith.